Hello again, everyone. This is the KMN 1971 back with my second edition of Dollar Bin Binges from the Fringes. For those new to the channel or new to this little side series, this is basically the same thing as my regular comic book hauls. I start off with current books, but once I get into the back issues, all the back issues have been rescued from the dollar bins. So thank you all who watched Volume 1. I was really happy with the feedback, and I hope you all like my new and improved background with more comic book art jammed in, a little Magnolia to go along with the Alex Ross stuff. So hope you like the Hellboy edition. And without any further ado, let's just jump on into it, because I have like 60-something books to show. So, Batman number 53, another beautiful Carrie Andrews cover. Still my favorite monthly title on the stands. Batgirl number 25, Joshua Middleton cover. Everyone saw this one coming. As many have stated before, I don't see this getting a huge price hike like Batgirl number 23. But if you are a Batman family fan or a fan of beautiful artwork, you need this in your PC. So there you go. Injustice versus Masters of the Universe number 2. I wasn't so sure if I was going to pick this up or not, but after reading issue 1, between the concept and the pure nostalgia of it all, I'm all in for the rest of the series. The artwork is cartoony in places, but it's good in other spots. So good enough for me to be all in for the rest of the miniseries. Infinity Wars number 2, my first Mega Marvel crossover event that I'm partaking in since, what was it, Hickman's Secret Wars, well, a couple of years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, which was really good. But so far so good. It's been pretty good so far, I guess. Justice League number 6, Jim Lee variant cover. Guy's been in the zone for decades. Doesn't seem like he's going to be slowing down. Love this title by Snyder. Great stuff so far. Not so sure about that doorknob, the whole doorknob thing, though. Titans number 24, variant cover. I buy this mainly for the love of the characters. Oblivion Song number 6. This has been getting real interesting as of lately. I would recommend it. Good stuff by Kirkman. Magic Order number 3. I wasn't so sure if I would be able to show this cover without getting into any trouble, but I don't see any signs of areolas, so I think we're good. And I also picked up issue number 2, which I missed out on initially when it came out. But I've officially added it to my pull list. Great story, beautifully illustrated. Great stuff. Speaking of which, Sandman Universe number 1, Jim Lee cover. Beautiful. I will not be buying all 4 spin-offs, but I will be definitely checking out the Dreaming series, at least for its first story arc, to see how it goes. And that will be a nice segue into the Dollar Binge segment of the video. So, I love filling in runs from the dollar bins. Never gets old to me. So here's a series that I am aiming to complete. So I got a nice little chunk out of the dollar bins as of yesterday. So here's Sandman number 45. I'm just going to try to fly through these as quickly as possible. Number 44. Number 41. 37. 36. 26. Oh, actually, that's number 28. Number 27. Number 26. Number 25. 24. 22, which I guess I'm officially hoarding this book at this point. I purchased this issue probably about a year or two ago for $10, and then I ended up finding it again probably last month for $5, and then I ended up finding it this weekend for $1. So this is the first appearance of Daniel, not counting when he first appeared as a baby earlier on in the series, and this is before he became the Dreaming. Okay? Sandman number 20. And number 19. So a nice little chunk out of that run for me on the cheap. I've only read up to issue, I think, 19 as of now. Dark Tower number 1. An example of a hot book in my area when it initially came out, and it was a quick sellout. And I ended up picking up in near mint condition 2 weeks ago out of the dollar bin. I heard good things about this, so if I like the first issue, I will definitely pick up issues 2 through 7 in the dollar bin probably next week or something, or 2 weeks from now. Speaking of Stephen King, this this is Astro City number 3 from the original miniseries. That aside from issue number 1, I've picked them all up out of the dollar bins. I still need issues number 5 and 6 to complete it. But speaking of Stephen King, does this cover not give you the whole It Pennywise vibe? Great stuff. Alex Ross, a master. Birds of Prey, number 16. Just a cool Joker cover. Birds of Prey, number 67. Like this Greg Land cover. I know this is when he was transitioning over to his quote-unquote tracing stage of his career, but I don't care. It's still a pretty neat-looking cover, as is this, number 70. None of these books really go for anything, but I am officially on the Birds of Prey speculation bandwagon. Which is surprising. Being a Batman fan, that's like one of the only titles I've never really collected. And the few issues that I do have in my PC, I've enjoyed. So I'm surprised I haven't really checked them out prior to this. Thanks to Donnie Cates and an awesome Venom trailer, I am kind of psyched. I am officially on the Venom bandwagon. So while I'm not going to go out and buy every 90s Venom miniseries, that's for sure, but I am a sucker for the first time that major comic book characters meet or fight or team up for the first time, and I believe this is the first the first meeting of Venom and the Punisher, two characters that I'm pretty big on. So, and it was decent. It wasn't that bad. It was definitely 90s, don't get me wrong. So I wouldn't pay anything more than $1 for this, but I thought just for the coolness, the cool factor, nostalgic factor, why not? Anyone that's watched my channel for a little while knows that I'm a huge Tomb of Dracula fan, and I had no idea about this Epic Comics miniseries that came out in the 90s. That was done by the classic team, Tomb of Dracula team of Marv Wolfman and Gene Colan. So, Tomb of Dracula number 1, number 2, and I'm missing issue number 3, but number 4. So, very cool to pick that up. Here's an example of just a cool cover that I've always liked. Punisher War Journal, number 36, the wedding cover. I want to say that the Punisher bursts out of a wedding cake in the middle of a mafia wedding and just starts blowing everyone away. Classic Frank. Ran into a nice little run of Copper Age comics. Grimjack number 1. This is definitely a nostalgia pick for me. This is a near mint condition, a book that I used to own way back in the day. And this was my first introduction to the work of John Ostrander and Timothy Truman, two creative forces from the 1980s that are kind of overlooked and definitely underappreciated. So, very cool. Camelot 3000, number 5, another miniseries that I used to own back in the day that I keep on picking up in the dollar bins to eventually complete. Beautiful Brian Boland cover, as you can say with just about any Brian Boland cover. Fury of Firestorm, number 1. This is my second copy, and I don't know, man. I'm not too uppity to turn away like a $10 book. And that's what this book ends up going for in my area anyway. I think you can get it cheaper online, to be honest, but there's a local comic book shop that keeps on putting these up on their wall for $10 a pop, and they always tend to sell, so why not? And love the character. Another copyrighted series that I love to collect out of on the cheap, Batman and the Outsiders, number 24, and this is the first appearance of some character that's going to appear or has appeared in the CW Black Lightning series. I forget the name. I also love to pick up some nice Batman or Detective comics from the Copper Age out of the bins whenever available, which is sparse, but came across these 3 issues. Real high grade, too. Detective Comics number 528. 530, which I want to say is a really early Nocturna appearance. And 538. Where you have Batman throwing down with Catman. Definitely another nostalgia pickup. Superpowers number 1. DC's not-so-secret answer to Marvel's Secret Wars series, which you can't even compare the two. Secret Wars just blew this out of the water. But written by Jack Kirby, I want to say, or at least the plot, and it had some artists that was trying to draw like Kirby to very, very, very limited success. But I used to love this toy line as a little kid, and I do really dig this cover with, all the classic villains of Luthor, Brainiac, Penguin, and Joker. So, cool stuff. For $1, why not? Here is one of my favorite spec books, my 3rd copy. What if the alien costume had possessed Spider-Man? So What If Volume 2, Number 4. And this is for Venom fans out there. As I stated in my Dollar Bin Binges from the Fringes video number 1, this is the first time in Marvel history that other characters aside from Spider-Man had been Venomized. So in this issue you have the first Venomized Hulk and Thor. So I just think that's cool, and for a cheap $1 spec book, why not? As I said earlier, I am not so uppity that I will turn away a $10 book, and this book can go from 10, 15, even more than that on a really good day in a high grade. So, and this is pretty high grade, at least like VF plus to near mint minus. I would definitely pick this up on the cheap if you can find it. Another book that I've spent probably $10 on in the past, and picked it up in the dollar bin last weekend. Punisher number 10. Features nice Will Spatratio artwork back when he was a quote-unquote hot and up-and-coming artist. And this is one of those fan-favorite Punisher Daredevil confrontations. So, nice pickup for the dollar bins. Star Wars King Size Annual number 1. This is actually an upgrade from the copy that I have, which is actually an error copy with a double cover, and the first chapter is printed twice within the comic. So this one's a lot whiter. Walt Simonson cover, Chris Claremont story, and a nice Bronze Age Star Wars comic. Little miscut on the top, but for $1, I definitely not complaining. Here's another book that I spent $10 on a couple of years ago. Star Trek number 1. Nice George Perez cover. Yeah, what can you say about it? But once again, second copy. This time around, only $1. Also, my second copy of this comic, I was really surprised to see this in there. Marvel Spotlight number 6, and this is the first comic book appearance of Star-Lord. We all know that Star-Lord appeared in the 1970s Marvel magazine, Marvel Preview number 4, but this was his first comic book appearance, and I want to say a kind of retcon of his original origin. Kind of broke my rule with this one. I usually like to stay, fine plus to near mint range when it comes to dollar bin comics, but this one's definitely a fine minus. Has a slight crease right there. Almost makes it a total dog ear, but for a fine minus comic, first comic book appearance of Star-Lord, I couldn't just leave it there. Really happy to pick this up. Batman Adventures number 1. This has been at one of my comic book shops in one of the long boxes for years now, with a $20 price tag on it, which is probably why it's been sitting there for years. You can get this even cheaper on eBay for like $10-15. But being a big Batman fan, and it being a premiere issue, Had to have it. A little embarrassed to show you all this, but Youngblood #2, I refuse to pick this up for anything more than $1, but there it was. As I'm sure they're littered all over the country. I guess Prophet's going to have his own movie or TV series or some shit like that. Why not? First appearance on the cheap. And hopefully the last issue of Youngblood that you'll be seeing in any of my hauls ever. Pick of the haul goes to Marvel #1. I want to say this is a very nice Nick Bradshaw wraparound cover. And it also happens to feature the first appearance of the second Nova, the teenage one. What's his name? Sam Alexander? Maybe? I don't know. But love getting those second, third tier first appearances on the cheap for $1. You never know where they'll go. I can't tell you how many cheap first appearances that I've dug out of the dollar bins that are, you can't retire on them, but they're $10, $15, $20 books now. I'm looking at you, first appearance of Vibe. So, or Sidorak. Yes. So, yeah, that's all I have for this week. I will definitely be back next week with a traditional comic book haul. I haven't been doing any comic book collection spotlight videos just because, well, it's a cross between me being lazy and not wanting to dig all those books out and take the time to upload the videos and just my lower viewership lately. So it's a lot of work, but just to gather up a comic book haul before I put them away, that's not so much work at all, and that's still pretty fun. So I will see you all next week with a comic book haul. Thank you all for watching, liking, subscribing. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. See ya.